Okay, Lee and Brooke, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and start it. I'm going to hit record, and we're gonna go ahead and address this. So here we go. Welcome everyone. This is the my name's Adam Beebe. I'm joined by Lee and Brooke Sharf. Is it Steen or Stein?
Sharpstein.
Sharpstein. Welcome, Lee and Brooke.
Thank you.
Welcome.
They are the owners of the business website, Amazon presence. It's a business of dogoodhavefun.com. We're representing it on latonas.com. A couple things prior to you can log on to latonas.com, which you have at least once before everyone listening, so as to register for the open house. A recording of this open house will be on Latonas here within, I would say, 24 hours. Um, the listing itself, which we'll get to in a couple slides, is available. You can receive and be sent an NDA a prospectus once we receive a signed NDA in house. Let's do a little housekeeping right now. This is to everyone except obviously Lee and Brooke who've done it, so I can hear them. If you haven't already, dial into the audio bridge. You can use your cell phone, your phone, the mic on your computers to ask questions. You need to do so in the GoToMeeting chat functionality. I will answer them either verbatim at the moment, or I'll answer them verbatim as the conversation proceeds when there's a more appropriate time. What we are looking right now is a business, as mentioned. It's not just a website. It's a has a heavy presence and sales functionality on Amazon. This is the nutshell. This is on latonas.com on the listing page. The blue hyperlinks are things that can be clicked upon once you have signed up for a Latonas account. We just need your email. Um, and you can see the monthly breakdown of the past 12 months trailing revenue. You can see the trends. You can see the traffic, and Lee and Brooke will address how they're monitoring that. Current asking price you can see at 250. And as mentioned, there is a button, a place where you can request a prospectus. Once I receive that request, I'll send you an NDA. This is where Lee and Brooke, there's going to be a couple sections of history in the admin section where you do actually virtually all the talking. So what I'd invite both of you to do is to go through the history of the Do Good, Have Fun Amazon presence, website, business, to what you think is relevant. So please take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Adam. Hi everybody. This is Lee. We started just wanting to have a business selling retail products on Amazon, which we learned how to do. And so we developed the brand Do Good Have Fun, and we started with a great niche and obviously a growth area of electronics and cell phones and cell phone accessories, because I mean every single person in the world almost has a cell phone at this point. And obviously also a lot of drivers, but it's funny, we've actually found that these cell phone mounts aren't only bought by drivers. They're people use it at their office, or they attach it to their airplanes. Actually,
Piano.
yeah, to their piano, yeah, to read music. And we actually literally had a guy who used it in his Cessna airplane. But I mean, basically, so the site, the revenue generating portion is our listing on Amazon, and that's really what we've invested into building over the past year and maybe year and a half. The dogoodhavefun.com URL itself is really just a support site that we actually put up after the listing was really up and running. And I don't know if those of you on there who might already be retailers on Amazon, some of you might not, but there's a system when selling on Amazon, and gaining your rank, and gaining its own ecosystem. So your rank, and you do that with reviews. obviously positive reviews. You do that with with keywords and how and your sales and converting sales based on what people click on when they search for certain keywords. So that's the work that we've put into this. So we have a 4-star listing that basically, even if you did nothing, like zero on a day-to-day basis, it still makes sales even at this point. And we'll talk about if you look in, there was a kind of like a dip in our revenue, but the the actual product itself, we've worked with our manufacturer in China to actually improve the product. So we've really established a pretty I think fantastic listing, and there's a lot of places to go from here. Go ahead, Emmett, you want to add?
Excellent. You're also going to hear a slight lag. I put myself on mute to make sure there's no ambient noise. So just realize that maybe there'll be a second or two delay there. So great, great wrap up there. This is also under the history slide, which we can talk more about it. The first one was obviously off the URL. This is obviously off the Amazon site. Anything additionally as it relates to history that you see relevant in this slide?
Sorry, just thinking. No, nothing that I can think of.
You covered it sounded like you pretty much covered everything. It's not necessary. This is obviously the Facebook present and we can get a bit more into detail as far as Facebook followers and things of that sort, and what you do social media wise. That'll be more covered as it relates to traffic. Anything you'd like to talk about now as far as Facebook?
The only thing that we have done some exploration with Facebook ads,
but it's basically untapped right now.
Yeah,
for our brand.
Yeah, we've only done a little bit of testing, but there's definitely a whole lot that someone else to take over the brand can do with Facebook ads and driving traffic to the brand, and for sales.
Yeah, and that potential, or that not having invested in that aspect, that's going to be shown in the slide. And that's not a negative thing. That just means that there's room for growth there.
Right.
This is, as you know, archive.org. It's the Wayback Machine. It's simply showing that it looks like, and I know we can flip back to the listing page, but the actual URL, the website went up close to the beginning of 2011. It looks to have, you haven't really done much with it. Is that accurate? Not much with it. There hasn't been many manifestations of it, I should say.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think we might have bought that URL maybe. I'm just trying to think back. I think that could have just been when we bought the URL, because Do Good Have Fun is something that we've had as a just like an idea for a brand, and we really didn't put it into practice until we had the product launch in that where you see it more active in 2013.
That's correct. We bought the domain then, but we didn't launch the brand until a year and a half ago.
Okay, good. I see right here what we're looking at is an admin screen. We have definitely dealt, and we have definitely sold Amazon fulfillment. I see a question coming in. Amazon fulfillment sites goes. Here is where I do definitely set myself on mute, and this is where you discuss as far as the functionality, and I think that you've already mentioned it, the importance of the Amazon store, and where it dominates, I think, obviously, as far as from a business standpoint. Go into, and what I'm going to do, as mentioned, I'm putting myself on mute. When you want me to advance a slide, meaning when you don't see anything more that you want to discuss on that slide, Lee and Brooke, simply say next, and I'll go ahead and do that.
Sure thing.
So what are we
Oh, yeah.
looking at?
Yeah, so we're looking at a snapshot of sales. So these are just reports that on Seller Central will generate for you, and it's very robust seller tools on the site. So this is where we get our analytics of orders and let's see, I'm trying to. It's a little,
and
it's a little
the
small.
conversion percentage and
Mhm.
and how many sessions and
Sessions and uniques. So it's all there. It's all
it gives you a snapshot of what's going on.
We can't hide anything here. It's all out there for you to bear. So that's it's hard to just say. In terms of running the business. I mean, once your listing is up, your job is just to drive traffic to it, and all these this screenshot is really just again, they're just reports. As opposed to things that you actually do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, the only things you do on a day-to-day basis, or that we do outside of your marketing, are responding to customer service. Because what we do is FBA, and that's fulfillment by Amazon. Now, as a seller, you can choose not to do fulfillment by Amazon. Like if you already are a retailer and you have a warehouse space and you have fulfillment in-house with your retail business already, you can take the units out of FBA, and you will obviously make more profit, because FBA takes obviously a certain fee from each sale. So
but the reason why we do it with FBA is because we don't want to have to do the shipping, and people are eligible for Prime, and we find that people who have Amazon accounts and are Prime members are more likely to buy our unit because we're with FBA. But it doesn't mean that if you went for we're at a point in the game where if you switch to Fulfill by Merchant, that it would be okay. It's just in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean that was our choice. That was our decision, as a home-based business, and to work with FBA.
You can switch the slide.
What are we looking at?
See what we have here. And Victoria had placed this in here as far as, and there's really not going to be much that we're looking at here, and actually a few of these slides, Majestic SEO, SEMrush, because again, this is grading the URL. This isn't grading, the Amazon store, which is the more relevant, much more relevant of the two. This,
right.
This simply has to do with the backlinks. You're not doing anything as far as backlinking and anything. I don't want to say black hat. You're not doing anything really as it relates to not only social media, but as it relates to linking. Is that accurate?
Actually, no, that's not accurate. I mean, we have done a lot of work in terms of creating backlinks to the actual listing site. That's one of the ways that we've generated traffic for it. With press releases and articles and YouTube videos. As part of the marketing effort that we have put in over the past year. That has created a significant amount of traffic to our listing.
Are you doing link exchanges?
What we were doing a little bit of testing of putting the actual articles on the site for a little while, which we had our virtual assistant managing, but we only did that for a short period of time once we knew we were changing direction. Okay,
understood. I just wanted to make sure. And what you mentioned is understood. There is a slight difference there, and that's good that you that came out. This simply has to do with the profile and what type of links you're doing. Have you done something as it relates to linking that really has taken off, and anything else other than previously mentioned that you've dropped?
I mean, basically, we've been using a link service we use Linklicious. So whenever we would put a press release out on WebWire and we would get a bunch of clippings, we would take that and put it through the service just to, get it through the search engines. But mostly we were, like Lee said, we're having it using the URL for the Amazon listing, and something that had we call it a super URL, where we had specific keywords attached to that URL, so that when people clicked on it, it would boost our Amazon listing higher up for that keyword.
Okay, and I'm just getting clarification. David is the one. David, I'm asking these questions on your behalf. Just specify if that's answered it. I appreciate it. Sorry, it sounded a little bit discombobulated, Lee and Brooke. That was something coming from a viewer there.
No problem. Did we answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yes, you did. So all good, positive.
Yeah, I mean, the basic takeaway here is, like, we've really, with all the, even the amount of revenue that this, listing has generated, we've only really scratched the surface, when it comes to, SEO and marketing. And of course, leveraging the actual Do Good Have Fun URL itself, which at this point, we've only really started to, use it as a consumer resource, right? To, show people our videos, just have like a presence. So really only scratched the surface when it comes to that, which is, good news when it comes, for a buyer in terms of, how this can only grow.
Okay, and here we see the specific URLs that that you have a link relationship with. 3 partners in shopping. Anything that you think relevant is to talk about them about?
No, I mean I don't know what that is actually, and
probably one of our services. Submitted,
also, we also worked with a lot of bloggers, so it could have ended up. We gave a lot of product away to about 40 or 50 bloggers who wrote a lot of unbiased reviews on their blog. So that could be that.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't. It's almost impossible to track that because they don't necessarily tell us if they actually wrote something or linked to it. So that's some of the things that you probably found here, or as a result of those efforts that we've seen sales, but we can't necessarily track where those
Yeah,
come from.
You both addressed it, but as Brooke, you don't know, and that there was just wondering if there was an existing relationship there. That's fair. I know, and it's explained in the listing. As far as there was a 2-week or 2-weekish, 2 week, 14, however many days it was. This is obviously looking at the uniques that have come into the site. There was the up through June a level. It's taken a bit of a decline, but it's obviously on its way up right now. If you would spend some time, let us know what happened and let us know what's been done to correct that, if you don't mind.
Sure. We had a fraudulent seller ship a whole bunch of knockoff units into Amazon's FBA. And what happened is that they had
commingled it with our stock.
So what that means is that their fraudulent products got sent into our bin because we had decided to be stickerless without having to put stickers on with our UPC code, because you save 20 cents if you go stickerless. But what we didn't know is that if you go stickerless, if anybody sends in any product, it just gets sent into the bin. And there was somebody who went under the listing. They're called hijackers. He said he had 100 units, and we had sent a cease and desist letter, and he didn't listen. And we spoke to Amazon about it, and we knew it was fraudulent. Because there's no way they could have gotten 100 units without us selling it to them. And so they had told us that we would have to shut down the listing to get them off So what we did is we shut down the listing, but in the process we ended up losing our rank. They did shut down the hijacker. He was not allowed to come back. And what we ended up doing is we have about like maybe 1,000 units left that are stickerless, and now we have about 10,000 units that we re-shipped in as stickered, so that if anybody else tries to do that, they won't be able to, if they wouldn't be able to be commingled into our bin.
Yeah, that was a big lesson for us, and so again, so when talking about selling on Amazon and the ecosystem of Amazon, when you don't have the sales, your ranking goes down, and the ranking all contributes to how high up you are in the keyword search priority. So all of a sudden whereas if you put in like car mount or cell phone car mount, like our product was 2, 3, or sometimes some days 1 on the page, far so your sales start to drop. When you take your listing off, you lose your rank in that sense too. So it does snowball, but just as it snowballs down, it's also maybe it's a little harder to build back up, but it's the same rules apply. So it just kind of so happened that we are going to transition away from this. So we haven't hit the on all the cylinders of what we were doing prior to the listing going offline, which is why it's building back up. But a lot of that buildup is organic. And again, like the fact that we have a high quality listing and we're a high quality seller, and that the sales happen very organically, and with just some minimal Amazon pay-per-click advertising. So again, we haven't gotten back into doing all the press releases and the backlinks and all the things that we had hired VAs to do. We sort of put that all on hold, and just did some basic a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Amazon pay-per-click, just to get things going for the holidays and get the traffic back, and just start to rebuild it. But again, it's just rebuilding slowly, because we're not hitting on all the things that we hit on before. And even though those things we hit on before, again, it was just scratching the surface of it. So that, in a nutshell, is the explanation of why we did have that decline.
And given that you've addressed it properly, there's no logical reason to think that's going to happen again. That's great.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it happens.
Yeah, it was a big lesson for us, that now we will definitely take advantage of in the future as well.
Understood. Views, I mean, they're virtually the exact same graph. Obviously, the numbers are different, but so that bears out with the views there. Tell us what we're looking at here, please.
This is just a screenshot of what it looks like in the Amazon advertising section, so that you can look at reports on how your ads, like just where you would set your daily budget to spend on advertising. And then if you were to click further down, that's where you can pick your keywords for your campaign, and then you can just say, oh, well, we spent X amount, and that just says week to date, so it doesn't really have the, it's like you spent 72 and the sales probably didn't, there's a lag time when you do the budgets within Amazon's PPC to see the sales on that chart. But it's just basically, you would ask to kind of give, for people to see a peek on what it's like inside Amazon. So this is just one of the areas that you can, create your Amazon PPC campaigns.
Okay, let me, and again, this is kind of the same concept. We're back in the admin section. I'll put myself on mute. Just, talk on the slide and let me know when to advance.
Yeah, this is where you can create coupon codes, and we definitely create lots of different coupons. Like, for example, a lot of times, to say someone writes a review in the customer feedback section, we have a template that we send them to say, thank you so much for writing this. This kind of thing goes in the review section. Would you mind, putting it over in the review section, and here's a 20% off code. And most times the customers move it over because the reviews are real, like the game in Amazon is like to have the really good reviews and to really cultivate those good reviews. And then we also, it's really good for like an initial, to help your rankings go up. Sometimes, people do dollar, money off deals, and this is just the area if you wanted to create special coupons for holidays or Mother's Day. This is where when we would write press releases, I would do special coupons, like 25% off for Valentine's Day, and do a special release for that. And then you can kind of track sales as well as for your Facebook ads too, and you can create special coupons to track the sales that come in from them. Okay, this is the area where customers write you. You can set it up to get sent into your email, which you can write them directly back into your email. So if you're like me at my kids' activity and a customer writes you, you can write them straight from your phone, which is what I love about this business so much, is the flexibility of being able to do it. But this is just basically if I wanted to go into the Seller Central and write to customers, this is the area to do it. Next slide. Okay, so you'll see that there's two listings here. So one says that amount is lower, the 1,000 units, that's the one with the commingled, that's sticker list, and the 10,000 units are the ones that I just got in that have the stickers. So we are running that out for the holidays, and the one with the 10,000 units are the boxes that we created special phone wallets, and we also have special VIP cards in there where customers can opt in to get, where we were starting to like create and generate an opt-in list, so that we could start selling other products, or the person who buys the listing can start buying other people's product, creating a list, lead generation. Next slide. Okay, this is FBA. This is where you would set up to have your shipments from the supplier in China, and you create different and then you can track the package of when it gets there and how long it's taking Amazon to, once it gets into Amazon's fulfillment center, and it says, you can see it's receiving, and then there's one that says it's closed. This is just the area where you can plan and track your shipments of your product coming into Amazon's warehouse. Next slide. Okay, this is where you can make changes to your listing. You can change your images. What I do is I like to create sale prices. So if you see, it says $15.99 and the sale price is $13.99. I find that when the listing looks like it's on sale, it tends to, every once in a while it just tends to just create more sales, and it gives the impression that there's more of a % off, and but this is the area where you would make any changes to the listing or the title, or anything else that you wanted to do, like the description, the keywords, and that's it about that. Next slide.
Okay, thank you. Revenue, self-explanatory, money coming in. The shape of the graph, so to speak, is consistent, where there was that fraudulent seller who came in. So obviously, not only traffic but revenue got affected. It's coming back up. That's good.
And better now in December.
I'm sorry?
It's even going up now in December.
Absolutely, that's good. Cost of goods sold. Um, the and it's I can go back here actually. Let me August. Oh, okay. There was an uptick in August. Okay, that just threw me. It wasn't what happened in August. Was that the
Tell you what
when
happened. It's actually part of the conversation of expansion and growth. We had an Uber-like car service that was like right in the August is when we were having trouble with the fraudulent seller. But then we also had a beautiful gift where an Uber-like car service bought like around 1,000 to 1,200 units retail. It was 999 units retail for their fleet. So it was a little gift.
that's significant. That's great, and that's why
Yeah.
the uptick in both in August, regardless of what was happening.
And then that also gave us an idea to start developing relationships with these kinds of car services, which is something that we've we've started doing. And where are we at in the process of that, Brooke?
We're just in conversations, like,
Yeah, so we've started some conversations and sent some units, to generate some interest. So just another growth stream.
As far as expenses, I know you were cutting them anyway, or that the expenses have gone down. What were you spending on that you no longer found necessary?
I was spending on, I had two different VAs because I was testing out all the different marketing strategies to see how they were working. And so I just cut back on some of the outsourcing and then also cut back. I was able to trim down some of the Amazon PPC spend, and also cut back on selling the press releases because I was using a press release wire service. So it's not that it wasn't necessary. It's like Lee said, we just haven't been as guns blazing as we were before in our marketing efforts. I do think that it is worthwhile to spend on those things because, obviously the sales go higher. It's just that we just haven't, we've just been kind of moving in a different direction. So.
Okay, just unmuted myself. This is where I want to make sure I clarify on something. Um, your skill level is different than mine. You know much more about the Amazon space than I do. So if you both would collectively, individually, not a resume, but just kind of a snapshot of what your skill set is, and then people can translate in their own minds as far as, hey, what an hour of their time, how much would it take to operate the site? So what's required and how many hours you spend on it.
Okay, well, my background is in PR and marketing, and before I got into this, and I would say that for the most part right now, and the whole time is my day to day is really would be like a few hours, just checking the listing, making sure everything was okay, checking the ranking, and then several times a day, just making sure I'm checking my email to see if customers have written, checking the reviews to see if anyone needs if let's say someone wrote a concern, just to get back to them and just make sure they're taken care of, like if a replacement needs to be sent, to get the replacement sent to a customer or whatever is needed. And then just checking the Amazon PPC listing. And then when I was working with VAs, just making sure that, they had their tasks to do, whether it was, getting to me their release and getting me the releases and the written articles and making sure that they were submitted to the link services and things like that. So.
Great. Okay. And I mean, what's the division of labor? Which of you is mostly working on the site?
It's mostly me.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that, and then you had gone into detail as far as what you do day to day. Site growth, I know you had already mentioned the possibility of mass sales to car services, also exploring more of the social media angle. Can you go a little bit more in detail about that, please?
Well, one thing to just so people know the facts, that the car mount that is in the #1 bestseller spot is selling 4,219 units a day, which they're about $24. They retail for $24, so they're making over 100,000 a day. So if someone were to buy this and spent time getting up to the back up to the top of the bestseller list, which there's a formula to that, that's what's possible in terms of getting closer to the bestseller list. And there's the Facebook ads. There is also the expansion into the other Amazon markets. So there's Canada, there's the UK, there's Europe, and then there's also introducing other products in that niche.
Great. Why are you selling?
Basically, we're selling because we are interested in a different kind of business that's actually a startup that we want to invest in. The Amazon business I think we will likely continue in some manifestation, like retailing on Amazon, probably in a whole different product niche. The electronics, category is, it's obviously a big growth category, but it just, we just have an interest elsewhere. And we want to raise some capital to invest in a startup, basically, is why we're selling this.
That's the overwhelming majority type answer that people give. That's definitely understandable. You did a great job independently and proactively answering questions. I did weave in a few. I got to David's questions there, I know, as it relates to the links, and that's good. Everything else I see has been addressed within the flow of the conversation. So Lee Brooke, great job doing that. All listening, both live and the recording. This is my cell phone. That's my email. And my Skype is adam.latonas. Invite me, I'll accept. As mentioned, you can reach out to me directly. Well, not as mentioned, but mentioning now, reach out to me directly through these methods. You can request a prospectus. I can send it to you once I get a signed NDA in. But by all means, I work a lot weekends, so definitely reach out to me. I'm sorry, actually, that was the last slide. So really, that's all. Brooke, Lee, you did a great job. Everybody has my information, and you answered all the questions needed. So again, great job. Thank you. And I look forward to interacting with the buyers, not only here, but also in the recording. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And Lee, Brooke,